Yo, what it do YouTube? It's your boy MB, ready to do the best setup of the week for the S&P 500 on the futures market. You hear the sound of that? It's me cracking up my energy drink, so I'm ready to break down this play. So just a reminder, my number one goal for this series is to show you the number one setup you could have taken this week, where it doesn't require you to stare at the charts all day. It's a super obvious setup. It's very easy to spot out. You just have to know what you're looking for. So this trade is for beginners, intermediate traders, full-time day traders, if you swing trade on the side. It's just a high quality setup that offers you really good risk to reward. And this video is going to be a little bit different. I'm actually going to show you two different plays because I feel like the number one setup of this week actually came on NQ, but I saw it because of what was happening on ES. So I mainly focus on ES. That's mainly what I trade. But occasionally, if I notice something in NQ, which is the NASDAQ, I might go trade that, which is the case for this play. But besides that, I'm also going to show you another play that was strictly on the ES that I also feel like was a really good setup. All right, so I'm going to break down this one really fast because this is the NQ setup. This play came on Thursday, April 4th, 2024, and I'm not going to do a breakdown of the intraday price action. I'm not going to do any context. All you have to know is that we have this bull flag here and we have this level of support. So essentially what I thought was going to happen was we either come and retest this support level and bounce up and keep going higher, or we're going to break and we're going to come back down to this area of demand where we have these buyers down here. So basically there's a support level down here that I feel like if we break through, we're gonna end up coming down here. So we ended up getting the breakdown. So essentially what had happened was we broke below and we closed below the support level. So whenever we do a close below support level, I like to do a break and retest strategy, which means that we're just gonna retest the support level to see if it acts as resistance. And if it does, we enter in here and then we catch a short. So basically what had happened was ES broke below the support level around 1250, and then it started to dump. And so this dump actually happened before it happened on NQ. So I literally come back from lunch and I see that ES is dumping. I see that I missed this setup here at 5293.5, and I was like, damn, that's a high quality setup. I wish I would have taken it. And so as this was dumping, I was like, man, I really want to see what NQ is doing because I bet you NQ is dumping as well. So I go to the NQ chart, and lo and behold, NQ is still kind of hovering up here in this area. It hasn't even broken or even tested the support level. So I was like, man, I've seen this happen before where sometimes ES leads the way and it'll either go up or down before NQ does it, because these charts like to move simultaneously. They're pretty synchronized. I mean, obviously you can tell by the way these charts are, but sometimes you'll see that ES or the NQ makes a move before the other one does. And so essentially it was like 1 o'clock and ES had already retraced pretty much this entire move. And at the same time, if you notice, NQ at 1 o'clock is still testing this level of support. And so what I ended up doing was I ended up getting short up here around 90 and in anticipation that, we would break below. I didn't even know, or actually I didn't even think that NQ would even retest this area of support, because NQ is pretty volatile, and once it starts to move, it really moves. And so obviously you can tell it here. And so what ended up happening was ES was way down here below the support level, and so I knew that NQ was probably going to do the same. I'm going to turn on this indicator that I like to use. They're called pivot points. They're just data sets collected by previous days, high of day and whatnot. But essentially ES was already down here, and so that's what was my target on NQ. So let me pull that up on NQ. And so my target for NQ was down here at 352. So from 490 to 350, that was like 140 points. But this thing absolutely just kept tanking. So even though it dropped 30 points, it ended up dropping another 70 where it finally found its bottom. And so this entire move was honestly kind of impossible to catch. But what I had noticed is that there was this downtrend that we ended up breaking out of. And so if you notice, we broke out of the downtrend. We don't really retest it here. We come up here, get rejected at this level, and then we ended up retesting it down here. So you probably could have caught this entire move if you had the balls to actually hold, for a 100-point drop. And I'm sure that if I charted on NQ, it's probably the same. Now, even on NQ, you probably couldn't have got the bottom because this downtrend, being very liberal with where I have these places set, you probably could have caught like 300 points, but not this entire 500-point move. So this setup was super nasty, and you would have had to known to go to check NQ and then take it from there. So that's why I'm not really counting it as the best play of the week. It's kind of just an honorable mention, but it was an absolute monster of a trade. All right, so now I'm going to get to the actual best play of the week. This came on Friday, the very next day. And so I'll get into a little bit of context. So we ended up hitting that demand zone off of that trend line bounce, and then overnight we started to grind up higher. There was news at 7:30, and initially we dropped, but then we started to go up. And so the market kind of just slowly grinded up. So in the morning, you had this bull flag that appeared. We had this pump. We pulled back about 50%. We get a bounce off this pivot point, and then we continue. So with bull flags, it's a measured move. So from the bottom here, from 15 to 48, that's like 30 points. You extend this over to this 50% mark, and then this becomes your target at 65. So now this play is completed. It's official. It's over. It's done with. Now it's time for the next setup. So this is kind of where experience comes into play. I started to notice this pattern started appearing. It's called the Wyckoff distribution method, and I'm going to place it on the screen so we can see a side-by-side comparison. Actually, let me pull this up real fast. All right, so like I said, I had a 1-minute chart pulled up because I was trying out this new strategy, and that's when I really noticed that this pattern was kind of starting to play out. So essentially what you have is you have this upward move, which you have right here. You have a little bit of a pullback and then kind of a bounce, which is like this move here, and then it comes back up and then forms another high, which is that move there, and then it pulls back, which is like right here, and then we come up, and then we pull back down, and then we come up again. And so it's like all these like key levels are playing out. They're not exact, it's not 100% this chart, but it's very similar. It's eerily similar at that. You have this UT, whatever that stands for. It's like a higher of this, which is like right here. And so I ended up getting in short somewhere like right here off of this break. And so I got in a little bit early because I ended up getting stopped out. And when I got stopped out, I was like, man, it just really looks like this is going to play out. And what I had missed was that this right here, which is a UTAD test. Again, I don't know what it stands for. I just know, this chart. And so basically this level has to make a new high above here, which is this level right here at 68. And so at the same time, I'm going to show you Bookmap as well, what Bookmap was showing. Bookmap was showing orders around this 5270 level. So I was like, if we form a new high, we break above here, 5270 might be the level that we, pop out and catch all those shorts. My bad, I mean longs. People that are long from this breakout, thinking that this is going to continue higher, they're all going to get long here and they're all going to get trapped. So I got in here at 5270. We went up a little bit, 2 more points. But I have a 5-point stop loss, so I didn't get stopped out, and then we ended up starting to drop. And then even from there, it's like I was like, okay, well let me see if this starts to play out. And so so basically what happens is you form a new low below this one. So here's our SOW, and then here's our low below the SOW line. And so it starts playing out like a T. I knew that we were probably going to come up to do a little fake out. So I texted in my chat saying, hey, there's a short entry at 62.5. I think I said 62.5 or 63 regardless. And that was based off of this level here. So I'm going to pull up I think it was on a 15-minute chart. All right, so yeah, like on a 15-minute chart, there was this level that was acting as resistance. It ended up acting as support, and it was 62.5. So if you had missed this entry at the very top, you could have got in at this break and retest right here at 62.5. So if I go back to the 1 minute, here's that retest. You enter in at 62.5, it gets rejected, and then we ended up selling off. So there were 2 targets that I had. I was thinking of this previous swing high to act as support, but because it's a distribution, and so basically what that means is like it pumps up, it consolidates sideways. It's just a manipulation algorithm that ends up dumping afterwards, and it's a pretty strong dump. And considering what happened yesterday, I was like, we could retrace this entire move. So although this was a good area to target, I was thinking more of this swing low right there. It was right above VWAP, right above this pivot point. And so we didn't quite get there, but from 70 down to 37, it was a little over 30 points. So looking at my notes, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday all had plays of 20 points or higher. And then obviously Thursday, you had that 100-point sell-off. And so I felt like this had a possibility of dropping more than 20 points because of what happened yesterday. And so it was a 30-point play. So I didn't catch this entire move, but I did catch a portion of it, which is really our goal. Our goal isn't to catch every single play, or get the tops and the bottoms. Our goal is just to take a portion of it and make our money and go about our business. But that's pretty much it. Like I said, this week had amazing setups. It was the exact opposite of last week. Last week was super boring. There were like 4, maybe 5 trades that entire week. This week had on average like 5 trades a day. But that's pretty much it. Longer video than usual, but it's very good info. I hope you were able to catch a piece of this move, learn something. That way we can see something next week and make some money. All right, y'all. I'll catch you on Monday. I love you.